All right, let's take a look today at getting this exhaust plate removed from the belt housing to replace with the plate for the snorkel kit. Looks like it should be pretty easy if we can snake it out of there. It's just 2 bolts. But it looks like it's kind of trapped up in there with some wires and other goodies. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Wipe some of the crud out of there. Alright, it looks like there's a rubber gasket on the bottom there. Transfer that over to the new piece, maybe. Oh no, it's not the rubber. It's all part of that. So there is no rubber on the bottom of there. There's got to be something. Let's go take a look in the box and make sure there's nothing on there that should be. I sure would think that they'd want a rubber seal on there. Be back in a minute. Alright, the directions say to either cut the rubber from the old tube, which I tried to do and it split, or use silicone. So we'll silicone it and hopefully everything holds up. I'm going to get this bracket here out of the way so we can try to slide it in there a little easier. I'm not sure if that's where that sits, which it looks like it does. Where that bracket we just took off of there is never going to fit back on there. And that's the fuel line. So we want to make sure that that's someplace secure and not going to get... Alright, let's go and see if we can do some research online and figure it out. I'll be back. So here's what I did. I just bungee corded all that up there out of the way for right now. They tell you to zip tie the fuel line to the frame rail, which I don't feel too comfortable about. So we'll get this plate on there and then we'll see what we can do. Either make a bracket or see if we can make the bracket that is there work. So we'll get the plate in there and then we'll see where we can guide the fuel line I just don't feel comfortable it being just zip tied to the frame. So let's see what happens. Alright, we'll open up the belt housing a little later and make sure it looks like it's sealed up in there. It definitely looks like it's squished out in there, so silicone should be good. I'm going to take a break and then kind of start looking at see how we can mount that fuel rail safely and out of the way, because it's definitely not going to be able to go right back on there. So I'll try to do some planning, and then I'll make sure I'll let you know what I did to make it all fit. All right, I'll show you what I did for that fuel line. Took a couple of these zip tie with the push-in plugs. Let's go up and take a look. So there's what I did. I took and drilled a couple holes in this rail and zip tied that fuel line up. Actually, I think it's just as good, if not better, than what it was on that metal bracket that they had it tied to. I tried doing some things with the metal bracket, cutting some of the pieces off of it, and just couldn't get it in there where it would fit and attach and still be able to connect the hoses to it. So I think this should work. It seems sturdy. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So we'll see. Time will tell. We got a filler plate that goes over this hole here from where you take out the frog skin intake. So you got to drill 3 holes to mount that. So let's get that started. Do our best here to line it up with the edge of the plastic. The first hole started. Alright, after some finagling, the key is I had it lined up kind of with this slot here, this taper. The key is to get it all the way up against the back here, so you got enough room for these bolts to clear this lip. So I had to re-drill some holes, but it's on there. Looks pretty good. So let's get the rest of it installed. All right. First, let's get this boot on there for the exhaust. Like it's seated up in there all the way. Let me grab the rest of that tubing, the piping that goes up. Where does it go? Looks like it goes in that way. Although it's going to hit instructions don't really say. So let's put the intake on and then kind of see if we can figure out how that wraps up around in there. Huh. I'll be right back. I'm going to go take and see if I can see some pictures online of how they got that thing routed up through there. I'll be back. So here's what I can see from online in the pictures. They've got that kind of leaning forward, where before it kind of went straight up through the bed. And then it looks like this sneaks up behind it. Get it in there. Spray a little lube on that boot. Want to spray down in there. We don't want to get it down on the belt. Alright, let's see if that other pipe fits up around it now. Alright, definitely a tight fit. It doesn't move around, and there is a small gap between these two pipes, so they shouldn't rub together. Alright, we got the dig rig snorkel kit for the belt housing all installed. Let me walk you through and give you a quick recap on what we did and some of the troubles we had with it. So let's take a walk around and look. So there it is, all installed. To start off with, you had to take the old intake off that ran up into the turbo and exhaust system, or by the exhaust system. So that's a steel plate that goes on there. You've got rubber boots and this black tube that runs up and out the top. Same with, you use your existing intake tube. It wraps around, gets pushed forward a little bit, but it does have a good fit. There is a very small gap there, so they won't rub together, hopefully. So let's take a walk up top, and you can see how they exit out on the top up there. So there's where they come out the top. The front one is the intake, the back is the exhaust. There is a metal filler plate which goes here. It's kind of dirty now, so it's kind of hard to see, but make sure, when I first did it, I tried to follow this line and it was pushed a little bit too far forward, so this front nut and bolt, you couldn't get in because of this ridge. So make sure that you're pushed all the way up against the back here and then all of your bolts go in without a problem. So overall, I'd say the fit is good. It's solid. Gets it away and opens up some of that space down in there for natural cooling, because you do that exhaust did come out of the belt housing and get blown down right on the exhaust and turbo. So I don't think that was helping any heat issues. So these clear the bed plenty fine. So my boxes should still fit in there. The spare tire carrier will still close and fit in there. So overall, it's a nice design. Had some struggles figuring out how everything lined up. It seems to be a theme with these instructions. They give you pictures, don't really explain the pictures. So, but I figured it out, looked up some pictures on the internet. So hopefully this install and me walking you through it will help you if you put this system on your machine. I have no real complaints with it. Like I said, it's all solid. We'll see how it all works in the end and make sure there's no rattles or nothing. So, but for now, that's it. That's the install on the Dig Rig belt snorkel kit. Thanks for watching. I got lots more videos coming, and there's several up already, so make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you can keep track of everything we're doing on this RZR Pro build. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.